Welcome to Vin and Mike, episode 88.
Wow.
Michael Irvin.
I can't believe that.
It's Michael Irvin in the house.
What's up? Am I? How you doing, Vin?
I'm good. KKFI, Kansas City, how are you? We're out there. We're on KKFI.
I let that play a little bit longer just to mess with you.
I know you did. I was like, jamming over here.
Jamming today on a Friday.
Yeah, how you feeling?
Tired.
I know, it's been a long couple weeks.
It's been a long week for us.
I know, we missed the show last week because of stuff going on and life as we know it. So we feel bad for our audience. People have reached out and asked, and I said, we'll be back. Don't worry. We're still here.
Yeah.
We're still working on things.
It's funny. One of my friends who follows us on YouTube, they'll get the indication like, when's the pod? When's the pod? When's the pod?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to get consistent again. We know that people like to hear us at a certain date and a certain time. So we'll try to get there, once life slows down a little bit.
Yeah.
Somewhere, somehow, over the rainbow. So for our lovely audience, Mike, why don't you tell them what you did last night?
Yeah. So this was kind of a childhood dream. Price is Right's been on for over 50 years. It was a show that I watched pretty much as a kid when I stayed home sick from school, evolving into college when I was hungover, evolving into adulthood, having it on in the background when I'm doing work. And, the Bob Barker to Drew Carey. So about 6 months ago, we decided to get tickets. So it was my wife and I and a couple of our neighbors. And it was in Newark, which is about 15, 20 minutes away from us in this huge theater. There was like 2,500 people. You had to register, and it was all random. And you just figure chances of you being called down are very slim. So the show's going on. It's a lot of fun to watch. They're playing all the old games. And towards the end of the show, I hear, Mike Diener, come on down. It was very surreal. And it had a little bit of different format than the regular game show because some people played pricing games.
Yeah.
The first half of the show, they called up 3 people to spin the wheel. And the latter part of the show, they called my name. So I got up there. I was actually wearing our Vin and Mike shirt.
Nice. Always
represented.
Did you get any questions about it?
No.
Oh. Right.
I wish he said something up there, but I just had to spin the wheel. I wish he would have said.
Now, who was the actual host?
It's embarrassing that he's not a well-known host.
Okay.
Actually, he was on certain other game shows, like a variation of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh, I got you.
I have to get his name.
He does like the secondary versions of the shows.
Yes, but he was very good. So yeah,
it wasn't Drew Carey, right?
It was not Drew Carey.
Okay, all right. Just so our audience knows.
But I shook his hand, and I was second in line to spin the wheel.
Nice.
The first guy spun, hit 85 cents, stayed. I'm like, this is going to be really hard. And then
how heavy is the actual wheel?
It's actually pretty damn heavy, but I got a lot of compliment. I'm like, how did I spin that wheel? Like it was good. You don't want to walk out of there,
Not getting a complete spin.
Yeah, that's right. I don't want help on that spin. So the first spin I had an 80, and I knew at that point it was very slim. So I went over, and then I went down the stairs. They gave me a shirt, and everyone started applauding me. But it was very surreal to be a part of that and be called down. So
yeah, cool.
Yeah. So. And
that was just random that they call you, huh?
It was random. They say it's all random in a hat because there were people actually on the balcony. We were all the way in the back. Then there's actual balcony, and they give people the opportunity to walk downstairs to go. So I thought when we got there, it was just going to be the front of the theater that more people would have opportunity, but they gave everyone an opportunity.
Awesome.
But I got to ask you something.
Yeah.
So what we laughed about was the showcase because both people overbid, right?
Right.
So the showcase, and we're just like, something's not right here. So let me ask you what you would bid on this, Mr. Price is Right, Vinny.
Okay, go ahead.
So there was a car. So it was like a Hyundai SUV.
Hyundai SUV.
All right.
2024.
Uh-huh. A trip to Italy.
Trip to Italy for 2 people, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah. A trip to Vegas.
A trip to Vegas also?
And then a little like one of those mini scooters, like electric scooters.
Wow. I'll go 42,000.
So you and me were in the same ballpark. I said 40. The people who were with were like 38. One of the contestants bid 72,000. I don't know what planet he was on. And then the other one bid something where in the 30s. So then they said the actual retail price is 27,400.
Really?
And I said there's no way.
27,400. What kind of Hyundai was it?
Yeah, but even if it's a Vinny, it's like I don't see any cars now barely under 20,000, right?
What Hyundai? What, the Santa Fe?
I don't remember.
I'm gonna just say it's the Santa Fe. That's 28,000 alone.
So that's why it didn't make sense, and everyone was just like, "What?" So that's why it was just interesting.
The trip to Italy should be 10 grand, right?
I put it like at 7 to 10. I put the trip to Vegas like at 2 to maybe a 2 grand.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I mean, I put the Hyundai at 20,000. Just and I thought that might have been low, but at least keeps me under from going over.
Yeah,
I still went over at 42. I was over by 15.
But everyone was like in shock.
Something that right there.
So it was a really cool experience to be up there.
No, that's awesome.
So
happy for you. I joked around when you showed me the picture.
Of course you did.
I forgot what I said.
You said something stupid, like it was like being there without like something stupid.
That's right. I was like, "Is Drew Carey there?" And you were like, "No, it's some other guy." And
that's like Mike being out.
That's like me being there, like doing Vin and Mike without Vin.
It was actually pretty funny.
But that was good. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting couple of weeks, and then we haven't been on the podcast like in a week. But then I went to that Jets game, and
let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about. Tell me what you thought about Zach, and then tell me what you're thinking about him moving forward here.
Yeah. So we all know we saw a different Zach Wilson. We saw a Zach Wilson who displayed confidence. He wasn't doing the run pass. He was. Hold on, are you getting the feed?
No, I'm good. You getting back feed?
Yeah, hold on.
Is it from me?
I think we're good now. I hope. But I'll try to do my best. I was getting some back feed. Anyway, I'll try to
good. You good?
So the Jets, the first couple games with him was the whole run pass. It was very predictable, and it was just getting frustrating. He was losing confidence. And then we're at the game, and they go down 17-0, and you just think to yourself, is this going to be another Jets blowout? And then all of a sudden, he starts throwing the ball. He's making good plays, making good screens, getting a lot of positive yardage on first down, knowing when to go out of the pocket protection. I have to say something, Vinny, that the offensive line was fantastic. After they came back, they gave him a lot of time to throw the ball. And what we saw was something that we haven't seen. So he utilized different receivers. Breece Hall was back in the mix as a running back. And they were really evenly matched with these Chiefs. I think there were a couple penalties that should have been penalties, but I have to be fair. It worked both ways. But that was a winnable game for the Jets. I walked out of there, and of course I was disappointed they didn't win. But at the same time, I said to myself, we were competitive. Now, what Zach Wilson's going to show up to Denver? Was it a fluke? So I'm just trying to really instill confidence and believe that they'll go play that Denver team. And there's a lot of meaning to that game because of the whole Hackett situation. that they could just go out there and get that W. Because if they don't, I think it's going to be very hard to come back from that.
Yeah,
because you're going to be playing the Eagles.
Yeah.
Right after that. So this is a game you want to take and build that momentum when you play the Eagles.
Yeah. And after the Eagle game, you have your bye week, right? And then as we looked at many times, I think the schedule definitely lightens up in certain areas, certain teams. It is the NFL, and every like we always say, any given Sunday, but at the same time, it lightens up. And if Zach Wilson continues to play at this level, those games become very winnable. You win out there in Denver, which we know they don't have a great defense at all. And they're still trying to figure things out offensively. I think it's a very winnable game for the Jets this week. And like you said, I think they have to win, right? That as much as they're home against Philadelphia, it's still, it's the defending NFC champions. They're 4-0 right now. They're just right now one of the top teams in the league. So you worry about that game. And we were worried about that game even when Aaron Rodgers, was right. Like when we looked at the first 6 games, they were tough games with Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. And that's why Zach Wilson just needs to continue that momentum. Finding that guy, 7 yards down the field, looking off, receivers. It was good to hear Salah say that Breece Hall is going to be full go from now on. Right, no more snap limits and all that stuff. So that's all going to play into it. But I think this is a very, very winnable game for them. Denver to me is still rebuilding everything out there. Sean Payton is rebuilding the whole thing. You could tell the defense needs a lot of help. There's a lot going on that needs to be fixed out there with the defense. And then I'm not sure if Russell Wilson is done or he just had an off year last year, right? I still don't really have that answer. The more I think about it, I still think he has the ability, but I don't know. Sometimes I look at it and I'm like, this guy is like not there, right? I don't know. But I was very impressed watching that game Sunday night. I was sitting with my wife watching it actually, and she kept saying that Aaron Rodgers being in the building was the best thing for Zach Wilson. She honestly felt the only difference for him was that Rodgers was there, and that was one of the reasons that. She said that was the only reason that he played better. So maybe it has something to do with it, right? Maybe Rodgers spoke to him and gave him, good words of encouragement, had him focus on something different than he was currently focused on. So maybe there's something to say there. We're not sure, but it was good to see Rodgers even in the building, because that means, he's getting closer to be in rehab, being closer to being on the sidelines, the whole thing that comes along with an injured reserve player, right? They participate in everything except the actual, game itself, right? So
yes. I just took from it, again, I was just really impressed with how they played, how they competed. But now you have to take that and win in Denver. This is a must-win for them. They have to.
I don't want Zach going out there and being 15 for 29 with 114 yards and 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. Like that's going to be the ultimate kick in the what if that happens, right? Come out. Give me 17 for 25. Give me 205 yards and give me 2 touchdowns. Right? Yeah. That's the kind of game I want to. I want to hear Breece Hall, continues to move forward. Right? So there it is. He needs his emotional support, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he does.
So
bring him. He should be in Denver.
fly him out.
Fly him out.
Put the leash on him and have him sit next to Zach everywhere.
Yeah.
So I just think this is his opportunity to really move forward too, right? Because Rodgers comes back next year. He's the starter. We know the whole thing. But what happens 3 years from now, right? Like 3 years from now, he's going to be 26, 27? I don't even know. But he could be your franchise quarterback again. Why not? If he can continue to have a big year this year, you have a lot of confidence in that he can be the guy moving forward, in 2025, right? Or 26, whatever year that is, that, he would take over the team. So that's it.
And just to answer that question over there, I think that
the question is, what do you think made him be better? Go ahead.
I think that part of it was Aaron Rodgers, just the motivation. I think that's definitely part of it. I agree with that. But also he had nothing to lose, only something to gain. And that the last couple performances were so under par that he knew, and just the practices, that something had to change, right? Because the game plan was just not working. They weren't even getting positive yardage. There was nothing going on, right? And Hackett just had to take him and say, what kind of snap counts are going to work for him? What kind of plays? And the difference was, again, and I just said it in the stands, I go, I love him throwing on first down. I love that. Because, the thing with Zach Wilson was in previous games, like, you were stuck in third and long situations, right? Third and 15s, third and 12s. And it's very hard to get first downs.
Yeah.
But now they put themselves like 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, much more magical because they changed the game up. And then I think it gave receivers more confidence too, because there was a lot of, in the locker room, it was so tense because certain receivers were not getting the ball. Certain, Breece Hall wasn't really being utilized at running back. And then I think the whole, the ball was being spread out. And then it gave everyone just like, okay, we could move forward and we can compete with these teams, because what did we say at the beginning of the season? The Jets have a great core. That's what they have. Now they just need this quarterback, as Zach Wilson, to just be good. He doesn't have to be great.
No.
He just has to be good enough to get 2 or 3 touchdowns a game and then rely on your defense, because you can't rely on your defense 3 and outs all the time, because they're going to be tired, and then you can't really sustain that.
Yeah. I think he had the full support of the coaching staff. I think that really helped him every week, right? Like, they never said anything negative about him in any press conference, right? They always, Salah kept saying he's, our best choice to win. He's the best player, that we have at the position. He really, they didn't really look to go get him. They got Trevor Siemian just to be whatever, right? But ultimately, I think you hit it the nail on the head with Hackett designing the game plan more around his strengths, right? And getting him in situations, where he could make completions and make first downs. And I tell you, I was impressed. There was some like 3rd and 8s and 3rd and 7s, and they picked up first downs. They sustained some drives. He missed 2 big passes, right, that probably would have won you the game. But listen, you can't look at every single pass and say that would be the reason you win or lose. Like the penalty, right? The Sauce Gardner penalty. Is that the reason the Jets didn't win? No. But did it have a factor? Of course it did, but that's not the ultimate reason, right? You still got to get the ball back. You still got to show that you can drive the ball. You still got to show that you're going to either put up a field goal or a touchdown. There's so many variables to every play. People overreact all the time on penalties because they see the penalty in the 4th quarter at the end of the game. They don't think about early in the game, like the safety that the Jets got. It's not, right. When you look at it, it's not a safety. The sack started happening outside of the end zone. So at that, or the holding penalty, the penalty started happening outside the end zone, that's not a safety. So right there, that the momentum switches at that point, and things like those are the little things that people forget about throughout the game. But again, I think Hackett had a really good offensive plan for him. That's a Steve Spagnuolo defense that likes to blitz, that likes to do a lot of things. He really did a really good job figuring that out. The offensive line played much better than they've been playing.
Yeah, that was probably one of the most impressive.
And I think now that you're going to see Breece Hall get 20 carries a game and Dalvin Cook maybe get 10, right? And then run the ball a lot, and you get 30, maybe 35 runs a game. That's going to really alleviate a lot of the stress on Wilson as well, because 6-7 yard run, 2nd and 4, nice 5-yard pass to Tyler Conklin, a nice 6-yard curl to Garrett Wilson.
That's what we're talking about. So I want to see that this game. We all want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and I want to see the defense continue to get better, right? I think sometimes they're a little off. So I want to see them play a little bit more consistent. So we'll see how it plays out. My wife is now insulting me, asking if the Raiders can ever be better.
What do you think of Aiden?
I thought he played well. His first start, right? With quarterback, it's his first start. I thought he played okay. I hate Josh McDaniels. The play calls. I mean, ridiculous play calls.
What in particular bothered you about the play calls that he was calling? What do you think is going wrong?
So there's a couple things, right? The guy is the head coach and the offensive coordinator. Well, technically not the offensive coordinator, but he's the head coach and the play caller. He can't do both. We had a touchdown to Davante Adams that should have been challenged, and he's not paying attention to the game because he's worrying about the next play that has to go in, and we're not worrying about, hey, we got to challenge this, especially late in the game when things go really fast. So he's either got to give up the play calling or get a lot better at doing both. Then you're down by 7 with a young quarterback on the goal line. You got Josh Jacobs. Why the first play? Well, first of all, why are we running a 1 yard out, not even in the end zone, on first down? And second, give the ball to Josh Jacobs. There's more than enough time to have a running play there, and you have Josh Jacobs, right? And then the week before, Mike, come on, we're down by 8 points, and we're kicking a field goal with 3 minutes to go. What is being down by 5, going to do for you compared to be down by 8? You still got to score a touchdown. It makes no sense. If you don't make the 2-point conversion, then the field goal comes more in play. When you make the field goal first, you still got to score a touchdown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, come on, dude. It's like these little things that nag away. And this defense, it's Max Crosby, and there's nobody else. And it's been like that now for 2 years. They drafted the kid Wilson, who's not been good. While we could have had Jalen Carter, who's like the number 1 defensive tackle in football with pressures. It's like insane how they can't draft. All this stuff. We know Jimmy Garoppolo is always hurt, so that didn't surprise me. But
remember what we said before the season? We said, will he get snaps? We're like, absolutely.
Of course. But I tell you, I like the kid. I thought he did a really good job. Your first NFL start, it's not easy. That's just not an easy game. But this team, once again, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. I can't say that this guy's going to be a franchise quarterback and this team is going to really turn it around next year. And I just can't say that. I don't see enough in the defense. I don't see enough with the coaching. I don't, it's been a disaster since a long time, but Mark Davis made it even a bigger disaster. The John Gruden hiring was terrible. Bringing McDaniels in has not been great. It's like retread after retread. I think the Raiders need a fresh, young mind in there. It doesn't have to be offense. It could be defense, but it's got to be somebody that hasn't been a head coach that got fired. It's got to be somebody that comes in there and brings in a whole new way of doing things. I don't know. I don't know who it is at this point. I can't even think about it or figure it out, but they got to do something different. They just have to. I know Raider fans, that fired Josh McDaniels is all over the place. I think that's a good start, but what are we going to do?
Right. What are you going to do about it? You could fire him, but what change? Yeah.
Right. It's like the Mets, right? The Mets fired everybody in the front office now, right? Like everyone's gone. And they're going to bring in these Brewers guys, right? Probably Craig Counsell will be the next Mets manager. There's a plan in place, I think, to have. The Raiders don't have a plan in place for anything, if you fire McDaniels, you're also firing the general manager, Ziegler, because they come together, So if you do that, you have to restart everything again. So, you got to just bring in somebody that's run football operations, for a long time, and bring in a fresh coach.
Yeah.
Give me Bill Parcells as my general manager.
Speaking of disaster, the biggest recovery from a disaster were those Chicago Bears.
Oh, last night.
What a change!
Wow.
You know who called that?
Who's that?
Magic. He's the only one on that panel there who said, "I like the Bears tonight." He called. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, they were. I tell you, Fields the last 2 weeks has been much better. The offensive line, much better. Defense, it is what it is. It's going to take time for them to really get it. But I'll tell you, Fields and DJ Moore are going to have that kind of connection. It's going to be a tough game, tough matchup for teams moving forward. So, but scoring 40 points on a Thursday night on the road,
that's
impressive.
Pretty impressive.
Those games, as we know, and traditionally and historically, usually the home team wins, and usually they're low-scoring games because you don't have a full rest. The game plans become very simple. It's hard to go on the road on a Thursday. You don't have a lot, and this game just changed that entire thought process and dynamic. Right? It's like they put 60 points up, the two teams. I don't even know what the over-under was, but I'm pretty sure that the 40 by the Bears probably passed the over-under just that alone. I
think it was like 43. So
it was just an incredible game. I was definitely really impressed the throws Fields made. He made legit NFL throws, and DJ Moore is a legit number one receiver.
He was over 200 yards, like I think 230.
Yeah, he scored me. He scored. I have him on two fantasy teams. He scored me 52 points on one of them.
So now you're going to make your big comeback in fantasy this week.
I hope so. In our league, I'm terrible. Well, actually, I'm not terrible. We looked at it, right? I'm thinking.
To our audience, Vinny scores a lot of points.
I'm like the third highest scoring team in the league, and I'm 1-3.
He's 100 points above me, but I still have a better record.
That's all right. That's it's got to flip the switch somewhere, right? Like eventually, the team's gonna have to win. If you're gonna keep scoring this amount of points, I eventually got to run into a team that has a bad week.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's you. In like week 9, I think we play or something. Because then,
there's still plenty of season left.
If I lose to you, I won't hear the end of it until the rest of the time. Because as you know, I would bring it up every conversation we have. So I would expect you to do the same.
I'll try to reciprocate.
Watch me tie.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something?
Tie. That's a fun league. Those are good.
I'm glad Steve convinced
A
me.
good old Steve, man. Good guy there. We got to have him on. How he's feeling about Aaron Boone staying on as manager and Cashman as GM.
I think he hit under a rock between the Yankees and the Giants.
Oh, Giants. I mean, we could talk about that real quick while we have a few minutes here. I don't know. Daniel Jones looked like Zach Wilson looked last year.
They traded places.
Oh my God, he looked so bad. And the offense, he got sacked 11 times.
That was hard to watch. I mean, I watched highlights. It seemed like he was getting sacked. Every couple of plays, he was getting sacked.
Monday Night Football was like,
and then that interception in the end zone, that was the worst.
Oh, everything. Just the whole game. They can't tackle either. They can't tackle. Their secondary can't tackle anyone. You complete a pass, a 5-yard in becomes a 20-yard reception because these guys can't tackle. They're like really like there's major adjustments that need to be made. Now, maybe getting Barkley back will help Jones a little bit on the offensive end. But
I don't think it's going to be significant. I don't think one person's going to. I mean, it's going to help. It's not.
He just has to get better.
Yeah.
They don't. One of the big things, right? They got Waller to be their like number one kind of guy. They don't get the ball to him at all. That's the first thing. And they don't have a legit number one receiver still. I look at all these receivers, Slayton and Sterling Shepard and Wan'Dale Robinson and the kid they drafted, Hyatt. They're nice guys, but they're not like they're 2s or 3s. They're not like a one like a Devontae Adams or DJ Moore or Justin Jefferson. Like they need like that kind of guy.
You know what's interesting, Vinny, with Lawler? The game prior, they were getting it, and then all of a sudden, like you got to keep that consistent. Like you utilize your players. I don't know. Nothing was there.
No,
there was nothing there.
They've had. I think it's 70. What did they lose? 34-3.
I think it's 24-3, but same thing.
So they've scored 3 points at home in their 2 home games and let up 64 or 74, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Yeah, they lost 40-0. Remember their first game of the year at home. They scored 3 points at home. They haven't scored a first half touchdown this year.
And they don't have it any easier because they're playing the Dolphins this weekend. The Dolphins are pissed that they lost against the Bills, and they'll be back.
Yeah. Well, the Dolphins don't have a great defense either, but they might score 50.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a stat that I saw. So, as you know, the Dolphins scored 70 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Of the 8 teams that have scored 60 or more points in a regular season game, the next week they're 1-7.
Jeez, that's interesting.
Yeah, they were 1-6, and then of course the Dolphins made it 1-7.
Huh.
I don't know. Don't ask me who the one is. I didn't get that deep into it, but I just saw that stat. Hey, was that stat that you sent legit about Wilson against Mahomes?
Yeah, I sent that. Yeah, he was the first.
So, go ahead, tell the audience what that was.
Hold on, I have to find it. It was something that was crazy.
Yeah, it was more completions.
Hold on.
It was something.
While I'm doing that,
it was a whole thing.
I know I sent it to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you my best.
While I'm pulling that up.
Just give the audience my best over for the week because I like doing overs as you know. But it was over 50. I liked. Was it? Where was it? Over 50. Lions, Panthers, maybe it was.
Send that to me.
You sent it to me.
I sent it to you. I gotta find it.
Yeah, look under me.
I'm trying to find it.
I forgot what it was. I said Lions. Wait, I'm gonna look. I'm looking up. Let's see here. I'm looking at my best bet. Where is it?
I'll have to get it to our Instagram page.
Because, you stink.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Miami and Giants over 50. That's what I like. I like the over in that game.
because of the poor defenses.
Yeah, I think that's to me it's a similar game to last night, like 40-20.
Yeah, interesting. Okay,
40-20. So
was it? It's you said it's over what 50?
50. So I'm gonna go. I'm going Miami Giants over 50.
Okay,
Let me see. Is this the? All right, I got it. Ready?
go
I'm
ahead.
gonna read it. The Zach Wilson. I found it. You text me and Matt on it.
That's why. Okay.
Yeah. It was on Twitter. All right, so Zach Wilson is the only opposing quarterback to have more completions, more passing yards, more touchdown passes, and fewer interceptions than Pat Mahomes in a start, college or pro, including postseason.
The only thing that would have been the icing on the cake is if the Jets won the game.
Well, yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
All the other 127 times, we know what Pat Mahomes does every year.
Yeah.
Can you believe that guy actually lost games in college? He had bad teams too.
Let's look at some of these games.
Yeah, give me.
So let's look. So we got the Jags at the Bills
in London.
In London.
Yeah.
The Jags were they there last week? Yeah, they were there, right? They stayed.
I tell you, I'll take them plus 5.5.
I will take them because they're already there. They're that may be a good game to take the Jaguars plus.
Yeah, I think I like that because of that.
I agree with you. I'm on board. Okay.
Right, let's run down and then we'll end the show. But let's run down every game and just see who we like.
All right. So
next one.
What do you got? You want me to go next? Okay. Yeah. We talked about the Giants Dolphins. It's actually on DraftKings, Vinny. It's over 47.5. So I would just lock that in.
Oh, it's 47?
Yep, 47.5.
Yeah, I like that. And I would take the Dolphins minus 12.5, even though it's a big number. These aren't our best bets. I'm just telling you who I would bet on.
All right. Then we have the Carolina Panthers at the Lions. I think the Lions now they're going to use that power rushing and defense to really.
What's the number on that?
So it is minus 9.5 Detroit. That's a big spread.
The Panthers are 0-4 going on the road. I would lean Lions again. Not a best bet for me, but I lean Lions.
Not best bets either. Our next game is the Baltimore Ravens minus 4.5 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But that game is a very low scoring. It's under over 38.
Is Pickett playing?
That's a good question.
Yeah. He probably is playing.
With that point spread, probably.
Probably playing with a minus 4. Because I think if he wasn't playing, it would be like 7.
Yeah. And then
it's in Pittsburgh?
It is in hold on. It's in Pittsburgh.
I would take the plus 4 because that's one of those division games that ends like 17-14.
Yeah. And I think because of what happened last week's pathetic performance against Houston, I think that's a decent bet to bet them plus 4.5.
I like that Texans team.
So we'll see. I
like Texans. I like that CJ Stroud.
Speaking of the Texans, that's the next. So pretty evenly matched here.
Yeah.
Houston plus 1.5 in Atlanta.
I'll take Houston. I don't like Desmond Ridder.
You'll take Houston. Okay.
I think Bijan Robinson, I would take anytime touchdown in that game.
Okay. Then we got the Titans at the Colts. Colts plus 4.5. I think this one is very evenly matched.
Colts are plus 4.5?
2.5.
Colts are plus 2.5. They're at home.
Home.
That's a tough game because I would expect Henry to run the ball, but I would also expect Richardson to have a good game against.
And Jonathan Taylor return. He's coming.
Is he playing?
Yeah, they're going to add the return of him. I think.
Wow. It'll be tough. The Titans play good run defense, but that's good to see him back.
All right.
That'll help a lot of fantasy teams that have him on their injury reserve. They're all excited.
Then we got a struggling Saints offense playing the New England Patriots. Again, very even spread like a pick 'em.
Yeah.
Patriots are -1 at home.
Yeah, I'm worried about the Patriots because they lost the young corner for the season, Gonzalez, and I think Matt Judon is hurt also.
Yeah,
like their two best defensive players are out, but it is New Orleans traveling outside of a dome, and it is Derek Carr, who I always tell you figures out a way to lose. So we'll see.
Here's my best bet of the week coming up. Ding, ding, ding. The Eagles and the Rams. I am going over 50.5. I think it could be one of the highest scoring games. The Rams are adding Cooper Kupp to a squad that's scored 20, 21, 22, 23 points in 3 games. And Philadelphia still, I think, has a stronger offense. And I think this is going to be something that is just going to be a very high scoring affair. So I am going over 50.5. That's my best bet.
Yeah, that's good because the Eagles' defense, especially their secondary, has not been great compared to last year. They've been giving up. I mean, look at the amount of points they gave up to Washington last week. But and to be fair, they can put up a ton of points, right? Like Hurts will do like 3 and outs, and you'll go downstairs to grab something or change a light bulb and come back upstairs 15 minutes later, and all of a sudden the Eagles have 21 points. It's like, what just happened here? He's got that uncanny ability to score like bam, 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 and then all of a sudden I have 3 and outs, 3 and outs, 3 and outs. It's like a very sometimes up and down kind of game. If he has one of those games where he's just good the whole game,
right,
they score 40 points easily.
Yeah. All right, we got the Bengals at the Cardinals. Cardinals are +3. As everyone, it's just been Joe Burrow's been very limited. So I think one thing about the Cardinals, Vinny, is that they're a team that does not quit. I think that they're a team that's, they have talent, and I will take the Cardinals +3 in this game.
Yeah, I like that. I like leaning that way too. I'm worried about Burrow's calf. He's just not been good. And I know he gets off to slow starts. That's like a traditional thing for him, but he's not healthy, right? Or in NFL terms, healthy, right? He's just struggling with that calf, having tough time getting the ball downfield. Jamar Chase, they were asking him, he's like, I'm always open, right? So he's basically just throw me the ball. And I just think Burrow's having a tough time throwing the ball. It's hard to push off an injured leg. And I think that, and I love the way this Cardinal team playing. To me, this should be a team that can't win a single game. They've been competitive in almost every game. They were competitive last week.
They were, even though the score didn't really show that. They definitely
stayed in it. Dobbs has been much better than I thought he would be. The guy was literally on the street and signed like a week before the season started, and then became the starting quarterback and has played pretty well. So
next game I think is most interesting because you have a Vikings team that were finally able to get their first win, and then you have, of course, Kansas City, who squeezed by my New York Jets. And this is at Minnesota, and Minnesota is +3.5. So the over/under is 53. So I don't know. This one's tough.
I just don't trust Minnesota. I would take Kansas City to the -3.5 even on the road. That over/under, we know both teams can score. The question is, will they score enough to go over? They killed us 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago, Minnesota, when they They had the ball at the 20 and just needed to score one more freaking touchdown there.
Oh yeah, it killed our parlay.
Right? It was.
Yeah, screw that. I'm taking.
I'm not doing anything above 53 with the Vikings involved.
All right, under 53.
Because they're scummers when it comes to our parlays.
Yeah. All right. And then here we go. Jets, Broncos. The Jets underdogs plus 2.5 in Denver.
I think it's a good money line bet. All you money line people out there, Jets money line.
Agreed.
Right? What are you getting on the money line? Do you know?
Plus 114.
There you go.
Yep.
Take the money line. That's pretty low. By the way, that's a pretty low money line for a plus 2.5 team.
That's right. I like that.
So there must be a lot of money line going there.
Cowboys, 49ers.
Sunday night, right?
So that is Sunday night. Sunday
night football. Ooh.
Over under is 45, and the Niners are minus 3.5. And we both know both teams have been really good on offense and defense, but I think I got to take the 49ers at home. I do.
Listen, the Niners right now to me look like the number one team in the league. I think right now there's only 4 teams that can win the Super Bowl, right? Niners, Eagles from the NFC, and Chiefs and Bills in the AFC.
Yeah.
Right? Like those look like the 4 teams. And the Cowboys aren't one of those 4 teams. Dak struggled mightily against them in the playoffs last year. We'll see which Dak Prescott shows up to be a real tough game. McCaffrey's looking like the first non-quarterback in a long time that could potentially win the MVP, right?
Right.
So we'll see, but I would agree with you. I would lean San Francisco, but
all right. And then after Vin wins all his parlays and his over-unders on Monday night, he's going to be sitting at home watching his Raiders,
who are favorite,
play our Packer friends. Oh, that'll be a great opportunity to get the Packers guys on the podcast maybe after this game. But
they're favorites.
But
minus 1.5.
But it's crazy that Devontae Adams, Josh Jacobs, they have them.
Jimmy G's playing.
And they still have not been able to score more than, 17 points in a game?
I can't even. I don't want to talk about 15.
It. But
all I know is Jordan Love will, for some reason, throw 300 yards and 3 touchdowns on Monday night.
That's how much Vinny believes in his team.
That's what you'll see.
Yeah.
All our Packer friends out there, right?
Yeah.
They know what's going to happen. They already know. Everybody knows. You know.
So that's our picks. So Mike is myself. Eagles, Rams, over.
Okay.
And Vinny liked, what was your over? The
Giants, Dolphins over.
The Giants, Dolphins over. So those are
both
over bets. Maybe we'll parlay them together.
Wait, let me give you one. My best bet is going to be Jets money line.
I love that. I don't want to jinx it, so I can't do that. And mine will be 49ers minus 3.5.
Okay, so people, there it is. If you want to mix and match and add a parlay, I like anytime touchdown Bijan Robinson also. So Jimmy G, if you want to make a bet, a prop bet, go plus 2 interceptions for Jimmy G.
He wants some big bucks.
That's it. That's probably like a plus 150 bet too. So.
Yeah.
All right, Mike.
Another good show. We're on 88 already. 89.
I'm glad we decided to do a 30-minute show tonight.
Yeah, I said, Vinny, it's been a long week. Let's do 30. And of course, we're
50 minutes later. We're still talking. All right. You have a great
weekend.
Good weekend. Good luck out there in Denver. I feel good for you guys. That's why I'm taking that money line for you. All right, everyone. Have a good night.
See you next time. Bye. Bye-bye.